Say what? Look. I'm on tour right now.
New OGs. The New OGs is a State Madison Entertainment production and is brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get their solar power at no cost. So if you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, you can raise the value of your home, and you can do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of your pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is Black-owned and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www. Yes, sir.
Bobby!
Yes, sir. I'm listening.
I'm sorry for interrupting. I just gotta make sure I got all this right for the good people.
Yeah, let's make sure, because I know that's the thing that's important here, is making sure we get it right for the people.
I feel like with these glasses on and my hair in this shirt, I feel like a black version of Randy Macho Man Savage.
You look like a stand-in for Rick James in the Super Freak video. That's what you look like. You look.
Woo, baby. So let's run down the facts for the people, baby. Here's the facts. Fact number one. You're gonna lower your electricity bill. Is that right, my brother Bobby?
That's right. You lower your electricity bill. It's the only way to work is if they can lower your electricity bill.
Thing number two.
Yeah.
You can help the environment. Tell me that's a fact, Jack.
You can actually help the environment. Yes. You can help the environment by going solar. It
And super power thing. Number three.
Yes, sir.
I can put up 3 fingers. Super power thing number 3.
Yeah.
If you refer somebody else, even if you don't do it.
Yep, even if you don't do it. Yep.
You can get $500 every time.
Every time. There's no cap on that. In fact, because of the way that the payment is made, you don't even have to pay taxes up to the first $20,000. So the first $20,000 you do that way is tax free.
Man, that's better than the freaky bitch that tell you taste good. That's freaky.
Well, if you'd like to have the type of cocaine money that Rick James had, get over to www.gosolarmasters.com. Get in contact for a free consultation or order for somebody you know. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. Get over to People of Comedy. That's the network that we're on right now. James Webb running the boards. Killing it for Chicago, setting up so many people to take their next step when it comes to comedy or just enjoy what they're doing here in the city. Get over there. They got a ton of great podcasts. They're doing a ton of great shows. Headline South by Southwest with their production on sets that were done at Zany's, which is a great club in Chicago. Find all the great shows they got offered there. People of Comedy on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Twitch and YouTube and anywhere else you can. Where else you guys? You guys anywhere else?
Everywhere. TikTok. We're on TikTok.
TikTok. Oh yeah, get to TikTok. Everybody's got to go to TikTok now. Remember when Donald Trump tried to stomp out TikTok, and now it is literally like
never.
It's like everything else they try and stomp out. You know what I mean? Back and bigger than ever. It doesn't.
Am I the only one that feels like Kesha should have an ownership stake in TikTok?
I hope that's on stage, brother. Well, I hope that's the thing you're doing on stage. Because that in contrast to some of the other bits, which are like funny militant. You know what I mean? Like that's how I would describe your comedy. It's like fun militant. You know what I mean?
Hey, Bobby, I'm gonna let the people out there know that if they're watching the show,
he's doing this whole thing like it's a fucking
Yo Man XL has pulled back on
it's a work. The whole day is a work
of making white people angry while I make them laugh on stage because white people be shooting. And I mean, I want to tell the truth, but I also don't want to do it like this.
Right. No, I get it.
So
I get it. No,
I'm still telling the truth. I'm just making it a little more fun for you.
How was your week, man? You had a show recently, didn't you?
Yeah, my show was super groovy, Lockport, Illinois, which to give you backstory what I just said, Lockport, Illinois is 100% MAGA country, right? They've been Republic for a long time, MAGA country. So I went in there with my anti-MAGA ass, and I got some great jokes off. They had some fun. Most of the people seemed to enjoy the show. It was good, but there was one instance. The place we were at had big windows right next to the stage. Like if you're walking past, you can see somebody performing. And the first thing I said on stage was I made a joke about them looking January 6th-ish, and I need some some background. And later on, about 20 minutes later into the set, somebody walked by and just banged on the window real hard in the middle of the set. And I made fun. I had fun with the audience about it. I was legit scared, son. I was like, oh, what are these motherfuckers got mad? I hadn't even got to the heavy Trump shit yet. I hadn't even got. I was mostly just a happy black man on stage at that point. I was like, damn, I didn't even. So
it'd be weird if they had like kidnapped you after the show, but they let you do the podcast from their compound. Like if actually you were a prisoner right now. Like if you were like.
White people are correct in all of their doings, and we should act differently towards them.
Bobby, I don't know what you're talking about. I think I'm in Plainfield. I don't know. I just know it's a basement. It's dark.
So you did escape. I'm just gonna imagine that that's where you are right now. You're locked up in some. You're locked up in the Klan's basement somewhere, but they're just like, but let him do his show. It's pretty good.
Yeah, the
show's actually funny if you give it a chance. You get past white racism shit and all that stuff. He's actually pretty funny.
That's why you have no shrooms this week, is because you're in the basement.
Dude, I did have a serious situation. It's an OG situation that I want to talk about. I am broadcasting from my garage, right?
Right.
And I've been moving my garage around because I'm trying to make it like a workout center for my son and stuff, and also so I could be less fat. And I low key, every superhero has a fucking thing that gets it. I forget what it's called. Weakness. Mine are mice.
Yeah, your Achilles heel.
Achilles heel. Yeah. Mine are mice. I hate mice. I am terrified of mice. Tragic thing happened when I was a kid. Don't want to talk about it. My point is, there was a fucking mouse.
X ate a mouse by accident one time, y'all.
there was a mouse.
I come up with way crazier shit than would probably would ever happen to you.
In my garage. And I just went ramble on this motherfucker. And for the people who who dislike the misusage of the word literally, I want to make sure I'm prefacing this clear. I literally became Mouse Rambo. Yeah, I was walking around this motherfucker with mouse traps all across my chest. I put blackout on my eye. I was like, they started like I was in this motherfucker serious, and I got that motherfucker. It was just one, apparently, but he was a little fat. Like the nigga was living good in my garage. I got him, and I don't think there's any other because the mouse trap that I got is I chilled out some ducks. Like I went to Amazon. Go to Amazon and see the most expensive mousetrap they got. I got 2 of them motherfuckers.
That's a cat, nigga. That's what, a cat off of Amazon?
And, yeah, come here, Peaches. No,
and he got ratings not in stars, but in dead mice.
Right. Hey, for
this
sure.
nigga just staring at dead mice next to him, smoking little cat squares like. It is a job.
For sure, if you'd have got a cat, that motherfucker would have brought it to you. You'd have been like, listen, let me just tell you what I do for you, okay?
Next time I knock some shit off the counter, remember this. Remember I do this. I remember when I was a kid, we had a mouse in the house when I was really little, and I never had pets. I don't like pets. So we had to get my cousin's cat because we had a mouse. We tried to do that shit. And my cousin's cat, I don't know if our mouse was just too hood for that motherfucker or what, but the cat hid under the bed and never came out. Like the nigga literally hid under the bed. We had to call my aunt. My cousin brought the cat over. We had to call my aunt to come get the goddamn cat because it wouldn't come out for anything.
That's
so he was like, no, y'all got some ghetto mice over here. Get the fuck out of here. They shooting.
Yeah, there's always that rare
why
chance.
he had such a low Yelp review.
Yeah, there's always that rare chance you get one of the cats that are just like, I don't give a fuck about no mouse. You know what I mean? Like at some point the cat would get the mouse, but maybe not in your time frame. You know what I mean? Like some cats just like, I get that motherfucker, whatever.
Hey, it's no fun if I go get it right away. What's in it for me?
I don't even know if I like y'all. Shit,
I might side with the mouse. I like, you know what? No, you think shit.
Y'all on bullshit.
Yeah.
And Rob, how was your week? I heard you flew here first class. That was
It was crazy. It was funny. It was amazing. I just wanted to bring an extra bag. So I put that in the search and it told me for like an extra $30, $40 I could do it. I was like, okay,
Right.
And when I get to the airport, I noticed that it said I had access to something preferred. So I was like, okay, if I can get in here quicker. But when I went to the preferred part, the dude was like, hey man, you got a little number. You ain't got to wait this long. Just go straight to the don't take your shoes off spot. So I go to there and then I get to the flight and I see where the seat is, but I keep walking. Like this couldn't be it.
You just went and randomly chose a different seat. Like I probably 32C looks like what I should be.
This motherfucker was 1B. My mind wouldn't believe it. I was like, oh no, this could possibly
that must be 18 something. Maybe I'm missing the letter.
Must be a second. This must be 1AA. It must be a 1BB back in the back of shitty part. And then I was like, I don't remember choosing this seat. And the man goes, well, that's because you're sitting in first class, but we could trade if you like. I was like, oh no, fuck you. I'm going up here. Man, I sat down. They brought me shit. It was awesome.
That dude probably thought you did that shit on purpose just to be an asshole to some white dude who could just barely get a ticket. You know what I mean? Like this motherfucker's just like, nah, I really hate niggas. You know what I mean? Like,
watch me shine on this motherfucker.
You in the front row just like, let me tell you about how I dunked on this motherfucker in coach.
Excuse me.
I'm sitting up there with my legs crossed like straight African way. Real hard.
Excuse me, poor white man. Could you show me where my seat is?
Am I in the wrong seat? No, you belong. Oh, first class. Is that where I belong? I can see.
Oh my god! And to make it even worse, it was a white girl up there with a big old ass.
Friendly skies.
That's the other thing, man. I had broke me off a little edible. And when I broke it off crooked because it's perforated where you control to break it. And so I broke off a little crooked. I was like, I can't just leave this crooked piece. So I broke off a little more. And by that point, I had ate a whole row. So I was like, fuck it. Man, when I tell you I was flying the friendly skies, goddamn.
That's my favorite OCD where I have to level off my weed consumption so it's the right amount, but it's actually way too much. It's just I need the amount to be.
I don't want to disappoint myself the next time I come over here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave this much in the grinder. I mean, come on. Why would I do that?
And then I got here, man. It was cool. I rented a car from the airport. I usually don't do that. I go to the hood where it's people that I know. But this time I was like, I'm not gonna be here that long. I'm gonna just go get it at the airport. And it was a mistake. It was horrible. It was horrible. Not only did it's really easy to get used to good shit. You know what I'm saying? It's really easy. And when this lady handed me a key, I put the key in my pocket and I go over to the car. I'm like, boy, this car's a piece of shit. Now, usually when I was a young man, when we rented cars, that car was better than your own car because you finna go to Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? You finna go to Mississippi. The car gonna smell like chicken all the way down there. It's gonna be amazing, right? I'm getting this. I'm like, God damn, the car I drive is better than this shit. This is some bullshit. So I throw it in my bag. And even when I go to one in the hood, the brother give me a good car for what I'm paying. Like, it's an upgrade. They ain't upgrading shit. This motherfucker was horrible. And then when I get in it, it don't have a push start. I was like, oh my God, these motherfucking games
Listen to the
are using keys.
That's not privilege.
His energy is NFTs. God damn.
You're supposed to want nice shit, Bobby.
No, I'm just poking. I've been in the same mode, man. You get one of them like Chevy Sonics or some shits when you're on the road and you're just like, the fuck, this motherfucker. I might be able to outrun this motherfucker if I had to.
And I stepped on the accelerator pedal like, that's not enough. I gotta press some more. What the fuck?
You start thinking, should I throw some shit out this motherfucker? Do I need to?
Exactly.
You start throwing the paperwork out the window like this might lighten the load a little bit. Yeah?
I am cheap. I have never rented a car with my own money. The only time I ever rent cars is when I've been on either business trip. If I was on a trip and somebody was like, oh yeah, you have a car expense. Bingo! And I'm going to the top. Whatever the best shit, because I got the excuse of being a giant. So I was like, oh man, I can't fit in an economy car. Like, and every time, no matter where I was at or who I was getting the money from, they always go, oh yeah. You're a big guy. Like they can't do shit about that.
Yeah, I hate being in places. I hate being somewhere where I can't just get in a car and leave. And so there's like the idea of being stuck in a spot or like this not being able to decide where I want to go because I'm waiting on somebody to get me somewhere. I'd more of the times than not, I'm just like, nope, I'll just go get in the car and drive. Like, I don't mind driving. I like it. Like, I'll rent a car if I need to. I had shitty credit for a long time, and so I couldn't rent cars for a while. I used to be like, no, I'll drive my car wherever. Rena Calm has I know a dude who works for American Eagle. He's a bigwig. He's also an underground drum and bass MC. He's one of the best in the world.
Oh wow.
And he's an executive at American Eagle, the airline, and he set me up on a rental car when Rena and I were supposed to go to Ohio for shows. And we literally, like, she literally watched magic happen where I went back and checked with the guy at the fucking rental spot, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh wow, your name just popped up, it's cleared." And I was like, "Thank you." We were riding out there, and Rena was like, "I just keep waiting for somebody to stop us," and I'm like, "That happened." We're all good. We're all good.
Okay, I know we got to keep it moving, but
yeah.
You remind me of a travel story later. Let's go.
Well, traffic is an issue, and some of the first stuff we're going to talk about. While the George Floyd trial is currently going on in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, like literally the next neighborhood over, Brooklyn Center, Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old kid, basically pulled over for a warrant that amounted to $367, I think, for some misdemeanor issue that a Zoom appointment was sent to the wrong address and was returned, and so a warrant was put out for an arrest for this kid on a misdemeanor.
Wow. And so that means he wouldn't even have known that he had a warrant.
No, that's why, I mean, aside from the shock, aside from the fear that happens while someone's cuffing you, they tell you it's because you have a warrant. Like, finding out at that moment that's the first time that you have a warrant is also a problem, right? Like,
that's a huge problem.
That's uncomfortable. So especially when you're 20 and what you've seen and
the George Floyd trial is happening in the town next to
That's what I'm saying. Like, this kid's like concept of how it works based on the last, from Ferguson to now, for him, not obviously longer for some of us who've been around and longer, no more history, but like, if you're 20 and you're not even the most mature history knowledgeable guy, just the last decade that you've lived from 10 to 20, what's your experience?
Your entire adolescent and teen years was just murder by the cops.
And I'm not saying that to say that, like, hey man, if you see cops, just run for your life. That's not necessarily, I'm advising not to do that specifically. But so they pulled him out of the car over an expired tag or air freshener. Said something
about him having a tree in the window.
There's an air freshener in the window or an expired tag, but either way, they pulled him over and they got him out of the car. They didn't. So the thing is like one of the best ways to ensure that somebody doesn't take off running from you in their car when you pull them over is to pull them out of the car and pull them to the back of the car. You want to take them to where the trunk is, because it's the furthest place away from them that's a stand-up place you can put them that isn't like near the door of the fucking car to leave. But they pull the kid out and he's standing right next to the door of the car, which is not proper. And then they tell me they got a warrant, and the kid freaks out and tries to make a run for it. And a 26-year veteran named Kim Potter pulls out her gun, says taser, and shoots him. And then the kid drives off and gets in an accident, because that's what happens when you try and stop somebody who is trying to drive away from you, is that they usually are out of control and they drive away, which creates even more collateral damage that's unnecessary. Right.
I mean, yeah, he could have killed a young lady who was in the car with him.
Right.
She shot into a car that had another person who was just sitting in the car. Now, anybody who says, well, he was trying to get away, blah, 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 it was a fucking misdemeanor ticket. Also, thing I thought you were going to mention, you didn't, I'm going to pick up on the expired ticket on the expired thing on the back of his the
expired tag. Yeah.
Tag. Minnesota has a backlog because of COVID that's going like 3 months or 3 to 6 months for some people. Yeah. So the idea to stop somebody, and I'm gonna tell you a little inside baseball, because I've had enough of these stops happen to me. When the reason why we have the reason why we have the differing or the double stories of both the thing in the window and the expiry tags is typically expiry tags are hard to see unless you're right behind somebody. But that thing dangling, they might have saw that on a turn or something. They probably saw the thing dangling, decided to get behind them, and then saw the tags and threw both of that shit out. Anyway, my point in bringing that up is it was all bullshit. They just wanted to pull over a black kid.
Yeah.
Like they saw a black kid and they wanted to pull him over. Because I promise you, if you're a white friend of mine and you're watching this show, please email me about the time you got pulled over for having a air freshener in the window. That was the reason why you got pulled over. You didn't violate any traffic law or anything. I want to see. If you got one, you got a story, I'd love to hear it.
I mean, email me if you're a white who's been pulled over with a white chick in your front seat and had them go up to the chick had the other cop go up to her side and ask her if she's okay.
Oh my God. I've had that happen with a white dude.
I mean,
that never happened to me because I don't drive around white women in the car.
Good for you.
Hey.
I've sometimes considered whether I should. You know what I mean?
Dude, I shamed the cop. I shamed the cop into leaving me alone because he pulled up and the woman I was dating at the time was white and she's sitting in the passenger seat. I put my hands through the sunroof the entire time. I had my license and insurance in my hand already. And so when he asked for it, I'm tall enough, I reached over and gave it to him and I just kept my hands like this. And he kept saying, "You can relax your hands." I was like, "The fuck I can." And I just kept it like that. And he kept, he was standing there looking at my license and shit. He literally got uncomfortable. Cause he kept saying, "Come on, man. I'm not one of those dudes." And I'm like, "I don't know you." No.
No, right.
No, I'm not doing it.
The track record is questionable.
Yeah.
Let's just be
it's honestly, the fact that you keep bringing it up feels like a setup. And as soon as I said that, he was like, "Here." He gave me my shit back and walked away. And I was like, I don't care what fuck if I hurt your feelings, man. That's what life is.
It's the thing that is the problem here is the same thing that's difficult to confront people about when it comes to racism. And that is, there's been a long ongoing history with a certain pattern of how we are observing the world and deciding on who people are. And we are at a point where we are recognizing that is not, there are reasons why things are that way that we are deciding that we may not be such big fans of, where we are as a country, this big capitalist, God-fearing nation of nuclear families of, husband and wife and a white picket fence and 2.5 kids, that shit. And everybody's got to be that way. You're going to hell and you deserve score. That thing we are realizing is not necessarily the way it's got to be. But the problem is that, and the subservient to the white people and this evangelical concept of we are supposed to, calm the savages and make y'all fit to be decent, but still second class citizens, all that shit. The pushback against it is bigger than ever, but it is infected into systems like policing. And I am not willing to try and be this chick was trying to shoot a black kid. I'm not willing to say that the guy who shot Adam Toledo in Chicago was trying to just out there just to it's in the DNA at some point. It's in the makings. The same way that if you shock a rat every time that you play a bell, its kid, when you play a bell, will fucking freak out. It's the same thing. What do you think 400 years of descendants of slave masters feel like when they encounter a black kid? What do you think?
Yep. You're built for service. That's what you built for. That's what I mean. Let me tell you something, man. Man, I went to Chicago Vocational High School.
CVS.
The principal of the school was a dude named Roosevelt Burnett. Never ever had reason to talk to Dr. Burnett. He was a fairly stern fellow walking through the halls like a Sith Lord. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker didn't say shit. If you said hello, he'd nod and acknowledge you. But this dude was a straight shooter. And he had red eyes all the time, so they thought he was drunk. They started calling him Dr. Burkhardt.
Why does every high school in Chicago have one of them dudes, man? Yeah. There's always some cat.
Think of my dad was one of those dudes.
He'd just be walking around there,
high school principal, bam,
fingertips together and shit, or hands behind their back all the time. What the fuck type of Morpheus type shit is you on, nigga? Just
because because Lean on Me won an Oscar. That's fine.
Right. Go ahead, Rob.
The reason they like that is because they know what your ass gonna go through. So they trying to get you disciplined from day one. Be careful. Don't act crazy around these motherfuckers. They will fuck you. You know, they know this shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sitting in the classroom and I had, CVS had amazing teachers. It was this dude named Thurl Ladding. Now, you may not like rodeo. You may think the animals treat unfairly, but this nigga owned a rodeo. And he was teaching me foundry. And he took the day off, and Dr. Burnett came in and sat in as our substitute teacher. I'm saying, like, you could get a job when you left Chicago Vocational.
Right, yeah.
Shit. And so I'm sitting there in the class, and the principal's there. Everybody's sitting up straight. This is motherfucking scary. And he's asking us, what do we want to be? He was like, well, we're here. We might as well talk. And I had never seen him act like a regular dude. So I'm like, wow.
I've only seen this nigga floating through the hallways like a wizard, like a black Gandalf. What the fuck?
Yeah, so the dude goes, what do you want to be? And it was like about, I don't know, 25 dudes in the class, 25 people in the class. And each one of them gave an answer, and they gave me, and I gave a, typical, a lawyer, some shit just so you don't ask me shit else. And then when he got through, he said, have you noticed not one of y'all said you wanted to own something? He said, not one of you have any idea that you should be the person who decides what you do every day. This dude says it, and I was like, clunk? I was like, yeah, it never occurred to me I could own some shit. You know what I'm saying? And from that moment on, that's when I was like, I ain't gonna keep working for motherfuckers. This shit is horrible.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, that seed has to take place. But, we have these things that happen, right? Where every time it happens, the mayor or the fucking chief of police, they all come on TV and they go, this should never be a thing that happens, right? No one should ever have to see or witness. It's unfortunate this happens. But what they're really saying is, but that's just the way it is. But it isn't just the way it has to be is the issue, right? And when we talk, like when things like body cameras became a thing, when things like what they're doing in, I think, Berkeley, California, where now the DMV is responsible for traffic stops. So they don't have guns. So if you're being pulled over by the DMV, the one thing that will not happen is they won't be shooting you. If they pull you over to tell you your tags are expired, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a ticket that says your tags are expired because they have no guns, so they can't murder you.
Which should be the worst thing. Like that should be the exchange.
Which we're talking about, like, this is in the midst of piloting a 2 to 4 to sometimes 6,000 pound object, right? Like, why are we trying to also add guns to the mix? Like, why?
This is the way this is what's going to happen. Unless enough minds have been changed, what's going to happen is one of those unarmed people is going to walk into somebody, and it's probably going to not be a black person. But if it is, it's going to be even worse. And it's eventually going to be a black person. But when it happens, it's going to be on every television, every day, every hour. Fox News is going to talk about it until it turns purple in the face, and then they're going to try to change it back.
Yep.
Here's the only reason why I disagree. Two reasons. One, that's the boogeyman that is always out there. But two, everybody else in the world did it already. It's not like we don't have a visual like where we can see that it's worked. It's worked every place else in the world. Like the reason why police stops are dangerous is because police come up to the car looking for crime and shit. Like they're looking all in your car with the flashlight, trying to pick up to see if you got a joint on the floor, because they're doing that. If somebody knows that when they get pulled over, the only thing that's going to happen is they're going to get a citation, like the chance that they do something crazy is going to be way less because they don't have any reason. True.
I would agree with that. It would be way less. However, that's not the way it's going to be portrayed.
There'd have to be some other like pushing motive that would cause that to happen, right? Like you wouldn't just get pulled over and be like, I know this nigga ain't got no gun, I'm just gonna shoot him for the fuck of it. Like,
and also the person who would be the shooter with that in that situation was gonna shoot a cop. Like the fact that they don't have a gun isn't why they shot him. The fact that they shot him because they was gonna shoot a motherfucker. Because if you get pulled over for a ticket where all you're gonna get is a ticket and you shoot a motherfucker, you was on your way to shoot people.
Here's what
like that was the beginning of your spree.
The problem with the equation, here's the variable that you haven't added in. We got more guns than anybody. We got more guns than anybody, and motherfuckers ran up on the Capitol and smeared shit on the wall. If a motherfucker is in a bad mood, he gonna fucking shoot somebody just for the fuck, dude. What's road rage, dude?
Here's what I say. Let's give it. I'm
But that's
down
already
to give it
happening.
a shot. Here's what I would say though. Is like I think it's worth giving it a shot to see. Like let's see until that first one happens, and then let's see how long that takes. Because if we can get like 7 years before it happens, like the track record is pretty good. You
Right.
Play it up if you want to. Getting back to the situation though, what I thought was crazy is what happened after this occurred, right? The camera footage came out. Immediately, the cops put fucking barricades and shit around this cop's house, right? She's a 26-year vet. She's a trainer. She represents cops when they shoot somebody, right? Like this woman, she claimed she pulled a taser. She claimed she thought it was her taser and she pulled a handgun. There's 2 pounds of difference between them. They're different colors. One has a safety, one doesn't.
And you have to reach across to your. I forgot which side it is. Maybe Robbie can remember. I don't know if you know. They are on the
dominant
opposite
hand
side.
should be the gun.
Here's the thing. Okay, I never dealt with tasers because they didn't let us have any of that shit. They gave me a fucking pistol. They gave me a fucking pistol, and they told me I couldn't bring it into jail. But I had a pistol, and I knew how to use it, and I knew when to use it, and I had been in a situation where I almost killed somebody. It actually happened. And the reason I didn't kill him is because I waited until it was going absolutely. I waited until I thought the only way I'm going to kill this dude is if he finna kill me. Right. And I don't have any other choice. And you will be surprised how things slow down when you are that focused. You know what I'm saying? I have been in these situations where I was like, oh my God, this is so fucked up. Now, there have been times where I panicked, but there's other times where I was like, wait a minute. I have to do something and I have to make a decision quickly. Right. And this was one of those times, but let's just put past all of that. Let's just look past all of that. The reason she did it, even if it was a fucking mistake, is because she was afraid. Right? Correct. She was goddamn afraid. Now you gonna let the bitch that's afraid train other people? What is she training them to do? Be fucking afraid.
Yeah, she already in her training, she was telling them motherfuckers how to cheat if they shot somebody.
Right.
If they have audio of her talking about motherfuckers doing some shady shit if they have a shooting.
I've taken that class.
So that's the other thing.
Fucking insane.
That's the other thing though. Is
wait, Bobby, let him say that again. You said that's a class that they give you?
There's a class that they give. Now they don't call it fuck over people and hide it class. It's called creative writing. They give you a report writing class. So when you sit down, and this is what the basis of the lesson is. If you don't have to lie, don't lie. What you should do is not tell them anything happened. You understand what I'm saying? Don't tell them nothing that happened. Leave out every fucking possible detail. And then after you leave out every possible detail and it don't look right to you, then you can lie. Now, they ain't going to say that, but they'll say, have you write up what you thought happened, and they read it out to you as each and every one of you. They give you a class. They let you know. And this lady said, and mine was comical, because to me, the whole thing was stupid, and I wrote a whole long-ass detailed. It was just dumb, and everybody in the class laughed, and I was pleased with myself. But she said, you guys are giving too many details. She said, if you get into an altercation, you never say exactly what happens. You say you wrestle them to the ground. And then after that, some other smart motherfucker decided to write with the appropriate amount of force. That lets me know that you knew you was fucking up when you write that. And they make sure you know it, and they send you out in the world.
This shit is devastating to me. I mean, it makes sense.
That's the system.
It's crazy that it's a class.
That's what I'm talking about, though, is like that's the system, right? Like, so I remember watching something about some shit that after one of the other many times there was maybe it was an Axios episode or something, but they were talking about a training class where they teach these guys about how like your main thing is getting home every day. And if that means you got to draw on somebody and burn them down, then that's you're dealing with animal. Like they use phrases like animals and thugs and things like. And so when you drill that into people's heads as to who they're about to go dealing with, then of course the approach every time you walk up to a car is, oh, maybe this is somebody who's about to take my life. Where in the reality is like, what is it? 29% of cops have ever had to like draw and fire their weapon. Ever. something like that. Like the numbers.
Sorry for interrupting, Bobby, but this is very important. I got a new comedy special. It's called Lockdown.
Nice.
We talk directly about what you're currently saying in the special. I mean, if you haven't seen it, please, guys, take a look at it.
It's available on YouTube. It's available on NFT, right? It's available.
It's about to be.
Everything Rob does.
I'm gonna sell the shit like you used to sell joints when I was in high school.
Yeah.
But this is the whole point, man, dude. That is the thing. They are telling you one thing, and some people are not bright enough to get in the situation and realize the other thing is true. And some people just like want to fuck people up. Dude, I real quick, let me just tell you real quick. When we were in the academy, I challenged myself to point out all the absurdity. So every time they were trying to tell me some shit, I would say, well, okay, well then why is this? And then everybody in the classroom would start laughing and then they mad at me, right? So this is going on through the whole class, right? And so we get to this one part where this is supposed to be a super serious subject. And I'm like, yeah.
You're basically exposing every time that they're trying to get you to do some fucked up shit.
Absolutely.
And then the rest of the class is like, look, he sees the fucked up shit. But then they all are just like, okay, but we're going to go do the fucked up shit anyway, right? Like,
dude, and they were like really serious and everybody was intense. And I said some old off the cuff ass shit like, yeah, this is stupid or something like that. And the dude behind me got offended. Like he raised his hand immediately and he stood up before the class with his chest out and he said, you know, for some of us, we've waited our entire lives for this job. For me, I've waited 35 years for this job. And I would appreciate it if you would take it more seriously. And I was like overwhelmed with emotion, man. It was so funny. I just started laughing. And now his feelings are hurt. And I said, so you mean to tell me you waited 35 years to be the supervisor of losers?
And they still let you pass?
It was black people running. They needed big niggas. You know what I'm saying? And black people's like, I don't give a fuck what that nigga say. Let him in. I swear to God, Bobby, you think
you passed the physical?
I am not lying. Let me just one more thing real quick. You know, when you have to go through all type of shit to get this job. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
They weed motherfuckers out. They looking for a particular person. So, but most of it has to do with just being bright enough not to say dumb shit, right? And my parents wanted me to have this job. So I went through the shit. And I swear to God, dude, one of the things you have to do is you have to go on an interview. When I got and sat down at the interview, the dude looked at my address and he said, do you know how to fight? And I said, yes. And he said, okay, you got the job. I swear to God, that's what happened. I am not lying. And I guarantee you, if you talk to any other jail guard, they're going to tell you about the same fucking story. The motherfucker said, can you fight? And he said, you're from Inglewood. That's what he said first. You're from Inglewood. And I said, yes. And he said, can you fight? Now, in my 20-something-year-old mind, I was like, I don't know what this has to do anything. Yeah, I can fight.
Am I about to throw down right now?
Right? Like, is we finna challenge me?
The fuck you mean can I fight? Yeah, nigga.
Oh, you squared up on him right there. Oh, we going, nigga?
Like, yeah, well, I felt fairly safe because I was like, man, I'll fuck your little ass up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't worried about you. But I'm just saying, man, that is the truth, man.
Yeah,
that's the clip for next week, dog.
That's the system, though, right? Like that is, you know, this is what is taught, and so if this is what you teach, then you know, we've also trained the public to believe that those are our husbands and our fathers and our mothers who are out there risking their lives fighting the animals and the thugs and the gangbangers and the crack sellers and the pimps of the world. Like we dismiss any of the systems that have created a world in which there are pimps, right? We've dismissed any of the systems that have created a world in which there are drug dealers in the first place, right? That part we're not going to talk about that. We've just decided that is just a thing that's just going to be. There's no way around it. So
and then they tell you,
then we will demonize those people for this thing we're not going to do anything about. It'd be one thing if they were like, legit real, like, hey man, if you don't want to be a pimp, we got a whole program for non-pimps. We can get you out and the motherfucker's like, nah, I'm pimping. Like, that's the whole
you and how fucked up American philosophy is? Our philosophy is. I hear people they say this shit is an insult. Like I see fat poor people. Like that's a bad thing. Like the fact that there are fat poor people means that we have a society that we are trying to get rid of hunger. Like we shouldn't have to. Like you shouldn't have to look like a fucking. I can't remember those ghosts from Harry Potter. But anyway, you shouldn't have to be skin and bones before somebody wants to help you. Like there shouldn't be any association with that. But we have such a we shit on the less fortunate in the entire system, from our economics to how we treat people with the incarcerated with the system. It all is to like shit on poor people. It's a really weird vibe that we have. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's like it's like this shit is run by bullies.
That's why you only have a partial citizenship, bro.
You might be onto something.
Right.
You might be onto something. I mean, you look at we're down the street is this George Floyd trial where they're getting ready to have final arguments. The defense, I don't know, like the cats they brought up trying to defend this. The one cat they had come out there, he's actually being sued in Maryland, I think. One of the guys that they had, one of the pulmonary expert who is sitting there bullshitting for like 4 hours that one day. Mm-hmm. That dude's being sued for lying about a cop killing a black dude somewhere else.
Mm. Yeah. He's their go-to guy. That's guy.
Yeah, that was their money man. That was
and they got the motherfucker basically to say, nah, I'm not certified to say anything that shit is upset.
Right.
Like they basically got him to flip his whole shit around.
Yeah. In Chicago, the city finally released the Adam Toledo footage. I have not been out around Chicago right now. Are they on the streets, James? Or
well, they're not in front of the police station right now because I'm down the street from the police station as we speak.
Yeah, there were a couple. I think there was a protest last night, or just a small march last night. There's definitely going to be something tonight, and tomorrow and Sunday.
It's a tougher situation. Adam Toledo is 13 years old. I think the police were responding to reports of shots being fired. I think 8 shots were fired somewhere nearby. Someone spotted this kid running and he had a gun. He got to a spot. A cop was chasing him. It looked like by himself, yelling for the kid to stop. And then the cop yelled for him to show him his hands. And the kid took the gun and tossed it, is what it looks like from the video. And then spun around to show his hands. And the cop shot him in the chest. And that's, I'll save you the trouble of going to watch the video. That's what the fuck happened. And
then the motherfucker goes, "Are you okay?" And where did you get shot, motherfucker? No, I'm not okay. You shot me.
Yeah, this is the tougher part of the situation is the kid had a gun with him. No, I'm not. But the difference is, the thing is that like that's still. The point I brought up, I think, on social media was, if you say, show me your hands, and then I show you my hands, and then you shoot me, then what was the point of saying, show you my hands?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of, like, if you're just going to shoot me anyway, you should just shot me while I was running. And I didn't have to turn around for this. You could just lay me out. You laid me out a block ago. I wouldn't have wasted all this breath. God damn it. I'd have just, you know what I mean? Like, again, we're back at a systematic problem, right? Where we're looking at an issue where something is wrong in the way that we train and the procedure of how you're going to pursue a suspect. If it leads you to being at a point where you're so close to them, you're not sure whether they're going to shoot you or not. So you got to shoot them in the chest. Like whether that means staying further back, whether that means giving a different instruction, like get down on the ground, like whether that means like stop and then not running after somebody by yourself down an alley and having 3 or 4 people so you can be more confident, or wearing a face shield or something, since you're already wearing a bulletproof vest. Like how bad could a kid shoot you from 15, 20 feet away if you're wearing a bulletproof vest and a face shield?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Versus this kid who's 13 and has no training in how to respond. I mean, the kid did what was, whether he was being chased and yelled at a point, the kid got to a point where he complied. And the result of compliance should be an arrest or at least detainment until you sort out the situation, not death. Right?
Yeah, I just think that, based on the way the system is set up, it's just not conducive.
So here's the situation, like, because I can't think of any other scenario. Here's what happened. If I don't know if the kid was the one who did the shooting, but he had a gun. So he had a gun. He's running. He realizes I this is not going to end well for me. So I toss the gun. He probably tossed the gun and thinks the cops seen him throw the gun. He probably thought the cops saw him through. I'm trying to get in the kid's head.
He's given up. I haven't been chased. He's done running. He stops. He's by an edge of a fence, which is a part that makes it difficult. Because
and I mean, even if he had the gun, his hands are here. Who's shooting from here? What cartoon character motherfucker is shooting from here?
Rob, you talked about how slow it gets in those moments. And, the whole reason if I understood you right, the whole reason you didn't shoot somebody is because you waited that extra bit of time to see, because you already had the draw. You know for a fact that you go shooting every week. You probably were pretty sure the person you're dealing with did not. Right. So the odds of when you see that person making their move, you were trained and believed you were trained well enough at a level that you could wait it out instead of just being.
I was so focused. But again, I was looking at his hand.
That goes back to fear. And part of that again leads me back to this whole thing of I get it. 8 shots were fired somewhere. You got to go and try and find out who did it. But there's a thing where you go, but running down this alley alone could get me fucked up. I know I'm supposed to chase this kid, but I'd much rather go, the kid got away, but at least I didn't kill him.
Right. And he didn't kill anybody.
And he didn't kill me. Or maybe the cops on the other side, or maybe, you have a whole entire police force.
You got a
whole squad, nigga. Why are you chasing somebody alone?
This is what they tell you. You have to protect the community.
Right.
So you got to go get that motherfucker.
Right.
You can't let him leave there and go do another felony.
Right. That's the system, right? The same way, if someone decides they don't want to stop for you to give them a ticket, even though you have all their license plate information, can easily show up at the crib or send the mail over, whatever the fuck. Yep. All right. Including suspending driving privileges until then. You can do all types of things to adjust the situation. But the system is set up in a way in which of course it's going to keep happening, because that's how it works. That's how, if you keep training people to be this type of person in the field, then this is the result you'll continue to get.
Because they've already dehumanized the proper people that they want to dehumanize. I'm telling you, man, every day they would tell you, these guys got 24 hours to get at you. You only got 8 hours to be here. And then I went in there, I'm like, they not trying to get at me. They don't give a fuck about me if I ain't saying shit to them. You know what I'm saying? If I'm not fucking, and when they get mad, they usually ain't mad at me, they mad at each other. So I got to go out there and talk them down from fighting each other. But they ain't usually mad at me.
Yeah, there are some places where, there are some, we talked about Berkeley, where it's starting to change a little bit there in regards to how they're doing traffic stop. Maryland actually just became the first state to repeal its police bill of rights, which is a big deal. It allows, the Bill of Rights allows essentially for police, allows them to essentially just decide to not comply at all in some ways and cases. And so that's happened there. There are other places that are definitely talking about having that happen. The amount of
it's insane that exists.
Yeah. The amount
it's
of
insane that exists.
The amount of police who have stepped up and testified, against Derek Chauvin even is a pretty wild situation as well. Right.
They getting rid of him. Now he know what them slaves felt like on the Middle Passage. They were throwing him off the boat. His ass is off the boat now. They must sink or swim. He ain't fucking with you.
That was hard. Damn.
One of the big problems here is still the fact that we've got so many fucking guns in this country in the first place, and guns are such a big part of it. There's another mass shooting that happened in Indianapolis at a FedEx facility last night. It was I think the kid was 19 years old. The kid who did it. That's the only details I had on it up until that point. But here we are again, right? It's every episode could just be called "Guns and Some Other Shit." Well, guns have fucked up this week and some more shit. That's.
Yep. I saw that shit this morning when I woke up. I didn't want to read. It kept coming up, and I just didn't even want to read the story because I'm tired of reading the goddamn story. I feel like I know the story already. The only detail I didn't know is that this particular kid was 19.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Well, in the meantime, you have things it came out that police and public officials donated money to Kyle Rittenhouse's defense.
Yeah,
And
I saw
so,
that.
you know, again, we're back. You know, the name of the episode, right? A systemic problem, but this is the whole deal. You can't. You're like it. This isn't about video games glorifying. This is about the actual human glorification directly in the way of supporting supporting a teenager whose mother drove him across state lines with a gun to go into a town where protests over a black man being shot by a cop, who, by the way, is not being charged. That cop is not being charged. He goes up there with a gun, ends up shooting 2 people, killing one.
No, he shot, I think, 3 people and killed 2.
Killed 2. Man, this nigga got better stats from 3 than.
Yeah, this motherfucker,
Dude.
Fortnite champ probably.
You know,
yeah.
he's perfect cop material. But like, you know,
they raised him for that. They bred him. They made
yeah,
him.
he's a hero.
Them motherfuckers escorted him back and let him go home with his mom. Like, if there wasn't camera phones, this nigga would be a hero. Like, if camera phones didn't exist, the story would be like it was some crazy savage shit, and he was like a hero that saved motherfuckers' lives. The only reason why we know that this motherfucker just murdered people was because there's footage of him out there in the fucking streets and what was really going on.
You just can't expect it to get better if no one's got, like, you know, and then Biden goes on TV and is like, just the looting shit. You can't do. It's like, motherfucker, fuck you. like you put up barricades outside Kim Potter's house. They have fencing and shit up all around this lady's house now. So obviously, you know, there's some crazier shit than burning down a Dollar Tree that we could do. Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought about putting up no barricades.
So there's 2.
You might be like, thank you for just keeping it at looting. We really appreciate that y'all are just stopping at loot. Thank you so much. If you could just keep it to a couple shoe stores and shit, that'd be great. You know what I mean? Like,
hey,
you know, can we keep it in a 4-block radius of looting? Y'all can have them 4 blocks for all the looting.
Hey, I wonder what the insurance is. I wonder what the insurance is on a sneaker shop. Because that shit's got to be insane.
Man, it's got to be ridiculous.
If you live in Portland, like if you got a sneaker shop in Portland, the insurance on that has got to be fucking insane.
Dude, Portland will riot based on some shit. That should happen in Minneapolis.
Right,
and they burned down another police department in Portland after that. After Daunte Wright in Minnesota died, Portland was like, we got just a police department that needs to pay for this.
Viva la Polo!
Y'all next. They got a list.
Bobby, they got a checklist and shit. They're like, okay, these are the terriblest ones. Put the worst one at the top, and then where you get through, little flame check mark, black.
Yeah, whatever fuck up happens somewhere else, a police station in Portland has to pay for it. That's the rule.
Hey, the police in Portland is gonna be the agents of change because they gonna get tired of getting fucked up because other police stations are doing shit. Y'all gotta stop this shit. They kicking our ass every goddamn time. We need a break. We ain't shot nobody in 2 years. You motherfuckers got us getting fucked up.
We're all working out of fucking trailers right now because all of our police stations are burning.
And you couldn't work every day smelling like smoke.
I can't even enjoy barbecue anymore.
I'm a vegetarian now, nigga.
I hate hickory.
Oh man!
Hey, I want to say 2 real quick things. I think there is some change happening because there were 2 things that I saw happen this week that engaging all of this that I never thought I'd see happen. Pat Robertson, fucking Pat Robertson came down with the hammer. Like, how the fuck can you not tell what this is? He didn't say fuck, but I'm dropping that fuck is mine. But the way he said it, it was a gospel fuck.
That guy rose from the crypt to give a message today.
How in the holy gosh jilligy could you not tell the difference between these 2? Pat Robertson came heavy with it. He had his expert lady on, and she was like, yeah, you can't eat, man. And he came down on Chauvin. And when that happens, that's changing. Also, one other thing happened.
Pat Robertson think he just got one more shot to get into heaven. Maybe he might.
yeah. He trying to hit that curve. He said, "Hey, I'm trying to. Oh, I see it. I'm trying to hit that." You know what happened? Hey, somebody find out Pat Robertson probably got a beige grandbaby coming.
Yeah.
There's a beige Robinson coming somewhere.
Somehow he's related to Meghan Markle or some shit.
You know what? I don't think it's any of that. I'm gonna tell you what it is. The way he addressed it was like it was a PR nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, we're doing our best to make your lives matter, blue people, but y'all gotta quit shooting niggas in the street.
Y'all cannot just stop shooting these motherfuckers. Y'all got so many more options. Y'all can still probably beat them. We'll take that.
Yeah, because you just go back to beatings. What happened to the old Rodney King shit where you just batoned a nigga for a little while? You know what I mean?
Damn, can we just take it back to that?
Stop a nigga's
it's
chest.
just 100% sure. Hey, but here's the other thing that I feel is an agent of change, because I think this shit is about to create a pattern. And I hope this shit doesn't build into any violence, but it may change some fucking behavior. There was a young man that got stopped because he was walking through his own neighborhood. He got stopped by some big white dude. He's much bigger than him. As a military guy, army guy, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And a lieutenant of something. And he got in the cat's face. And the brother was very, very calm. He really didn't get pumped out by the much bigger dude. Much respect to that brother, because that dude had some size on him. And then the whole tribe came for that nigga.
That brother was ready to get punched out on camera for his right.
yeah, for the culture. And because the whole fucking tribe came for him, baby. They came into, that shit was so dope. And the best part was, there was a sister out front was like, "We just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you." And you know goddamn well, like, we just want to talk to you. Hey, here's an OG tip for you. If a motherfucker come to your house and say, "Hey, come outside, man, I just want to talk to you," don't come outside.
Don't come outside. Yeah.
And if you come outside, bust it. Because that's what they about to do to you. They about to fuck you up. and that white man was smart. I do not believe he came outside.
No, he stayed his ass in the house. He stayed in the house for sure. He stayed in the house.
Yeah.
That motherfucker exited through the sewer.
He's running with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now. He's out there running around.
Like, that was some bullshit bully shit he was doing in the first place. He was way so fucking far in the line.
Yeah.
Like, just
I was in the army.
Dumbass shit.
Yes, I was in the army, and yes, that is the type of motherfucker that joined the army. A broke motherfucker who loves the shit out of his poverty enough to die for it. You understand what I'm saying, man? Motherfuckers was crazy as hell, man. They would say shit, and I'd be like, I ain't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, we gotta get this mission done. I'm like, nigga, we training. This ain't the real. Listen, man, this motherfucker put me on the wall. Nigga, I ain't lying. They put me atop a 35-foot wall and gave me a rope, and I was supposed to jump off this motherfucker. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do this. So I don't get the rope, and bam, I hit the side of the motherfucker, just holding on the side. Then they wanted me to do it again, dog. I swear to God, they're like, you gotta get over your fear. You gotta do it again. Dude, I swear to God, these motherfuckers gave me camouflage. Right, so I put the shit on, and I hid in the woods.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Nigga, I hid in the woods until the bus came to take us back. Them motherfuckers was looking for me and shit.
Where's Hines? You hear him yelling in the distance.
And that's how he got into the intelligence program.
Oh my God! I was like, fuck this, they ain't enough to put me on that wall. Oh my God, I hear from them motherfuckers.
Shit. Rob, you fully vaccinated?
Yeah, I got the second shot on Wednesday. I didn't have any effects other than being stiff. My arm's a little stiff, but I didn't have any effects, and I felt confident enough to go out last night. I had a really good time, man.
Nice. X, you got your second shot or no?
No, I get my second shot Monday.
Nice. Yeah, mine is on Tuesday. That means none of us got the Johnson & Johnson, which is cool. They just put it on hold for 6 blood clots out of 7 million shots, which is literally 1 in a million chance.
Hey, the police have killed more black people than Johnson & Johnson has even hurt.
Right. like this week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, we shut Johnson & Johnson down. How about we shut down this police killing shit?
Look,
Give me the truck full of change, baby.
They couldn't even finish trying the other dude that shot somebody before 2 or 3 other people got shot.
Right. Biden came out and said he's going to withdraw troops from Afghanistan. This will be our third ending of the war in Afghanistan. It'd be the third time that we ended the war. Obama ended it in 2011, I think, and then he ended it again in 2014. They even took the flag down then. And now Joe Biden is going to end it again, maybe. I'll believe it when they're gone. We're very good at faking ending wars. We don't like
so
to.
Here's the thing.
We like to tell people the war is over. We're ending offensive missions. We're just going to be doing defensive stuff, which means we're going to leave like 3,000 niggas there.
Here's what I don't understand is what the fuck is in Afghanistan that we care about? That
strategery position.
Like, well, I don't understand. Like for what? For moving land? I mean, for moving land units or something? I don't think. Are we still fighting those wars? We're
in Yemen. We're in Syria.
We got drones now. Why the fuck do we even have people doing any kind of land shit anyway?
You know, the military specifically lied to Trump about how many troops are still in Syria. Like nobody knows how many troops are even in Syria right now.
Wow. Well, I'm sure Biden knows by now, but
like they talked to some lieutenant who was, or somebody who was high up who was like, when they were talking about getting out of, was it Syria? Yeah, it was when they were first talking about getting out of Yemen. I think at some point they go, we got five guys who were high up in the military together to figure out like 5 ideas as to why we needed to stay, and then they presented those and they picked one and we stayed. That's what happens, because like if you're a war dude, like why would you want to not be in some war shit? Like that's your whole, you don't want to go back home. You want to be in a war, man. You trying to,
I love there was like a moment where I was like, because I do like the definitiveness of Biden just saying, look, we ain't got no conditions on the shit. We getting out this day. That's it. I like that. That's a different approach. It's like a franchise. It gets tired if they keep doing the same thing.
Bet money.
And you put a boat in Fast and the Furious.
Bet money that the next 5 months is going to be a lot of time spent trying to figure out some way that it's not going to completely happen. There's going to be the next 5, like they already, literally the same day they announced that shit, there's a news story where they were just like, we don't know what's going to happen to the women in Afghanistan once the U.S. troops are gone. Like the U.S. troops are the only thing keeping the terrorists away from, the Taliban away from the Afghani women. That's just 2,500 U.S. troops between us and enslavement of the Afghanistan women, which is that's not real at all. On some other shit, though, the U.S. government did declare that Konstantin Kilimnik, who, if you remember, was in good with a guy named Paul Manafort, who was at one point the campaign manager for our previous president, they have declared that he provided Russian agencies with internal Trump polling data and strategy, which has led to more Russian sanctions. They also figured out that SolarWinds was absolutely a Russian intelligence hack. Essentially all the shit that Robert Mueller said was the deal. They have confirmed is the case. They kicked out 10 Soviet diplomats.
Intelligence agents.
Right. In return, the Soviet Union has kicked out 10 U.S. diplomats, which I think it's just funny. They're just like, you're kicking out 10 of ours. Well, round up 10 of theirs. It's just like, this is what the grown people are doing. That's some shit where, remember when you were a kid and you and your buddy brought toys to school and you guys let each other hold them, and then one of them was like, can I see my toy real quick? And they were, well, give me mine back. And you're like, come on, guy, what the fuck? It's the same. You're actually got 10 of our diplomats. We're kicking out 10 of your diplomats. It's like, grow the fuck up.
So apparently there's like this, and you've seen it in the movies and shit, but like how we all have spy offices in every country and they have spy offices in ours. Apparently, each country pretty much knows who the spy people are and shit, which makes it really weird. Like, I don't know. I don't understand how spy works. if you know who the spies are, how does being a spy work?
Well,
like, those are like the pawn guys, and then there's like a rook motherfucker sliding in between them.
Yeah,
like,
you know, like who you know who a station chief is, right? Like you'll know who the station chief is, but you won't necessarily know who all is in the place that's working for them. Like some of the best spy movies are the ones where the people who are the ones passing information are not technically employed. They actually work for their company. They just are contacted by, you know, the guy who's running the station, and he knows because this guy works at a company, he can give them the information out of this place that they want, or can get the whatever. You know what I mean? He can, and that way there is no connection. So the spy oftentimes is never actually technically working for the CIA. It's not actually employed by the CIA directly. You know?
Just like the Krimnik, I can't say his name. The guy you were just talking about.
Klimnik.
Klimnik. Just like Klimnik, he didn't actually work for the FSB or the CRB, I think, or CBR, whatever it is. He's like outside agent. Yeah, I get it. Okay, cool.
Well, here's the thing. I just want to go back to the problem with all of these things is that America's foreign policy sucks big, giant, heavy balled cock. They only want to do half of the shit that it takes to do some shit, and then complain about the shit how much it costs. Now you done spent $1 trillion a year or some ridiculous number like that on these motherfuckers in these other countries fighting them, when instead you could spend a couple billion making the spot better. You know what I mean? If you got this money, but the thing is, you got motherfuckers who need to sell missiles, and so they doing all this shit. But this the killer part. Okay, you take all the motherfuckers out of Afghanistan. Okay, but you got motherfuckers that were fighting with you there, right? You got motherfuckers that they were fighting for their homeland with you. Now these motherfuckers are probably gonna come back and take that spot over. You need to get all of those people the fuck out of there and put them in, let them sell us cigarettes and lottery tickets in the hood or something. Let them motherfuckers come up out of there, because they are going to die. You understand? Or they're going to be fucked over.
Is this fucked up? But is Wyoming is pretty much Afghanistan, right?
You say what?
Like territorially wise, the terrain.
Wyoming.
The terrain. Yeah.
Afghanistan. There's not a lot there.
Am I not describing Wyoming correctly?
Yeah. No, I mean, no, you're right on. There's not a lot going on in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Those are both.
I'm saying, why can't we just take a large group of Afghanis that need to be moved and just bam, give them Wyoming? Wyoming ain't doing shit. a bunch of empty space. Like we could break off like a little bit of Montana. Boom.
Well,
a bunch of fucking empty space.
The issue of Afghanistan is where it's located, like on a map, because it is like it's basically creviced in between Iran and Pakistan, right? And then you've got China directly on the other side of it. Basically, there's like a couple other Tajikistans and or whatever, but like it's like China, Afghanistan's this wedge in the middle, and then you got Iran and Pakistan, right? And so, like, from a positional standpoint, being in Afghanistan is a spot to be. You know what I mean? Like that's a place you want to be in. If you would, and that's why it's such a big deal, and that's why they can't ever develop anything there, because there's always some fight going on over who's actually going to get to control it or run it, or who's dealing with it, and that's why it's as lawless as it is, which is a fucking crazy thing. Some other crazy shit. Did you know that you're not supposed to smoke if you're Japanese? You're not supposed to smoke weed in any other country.
Really?
Yeah. If you're Japanese and they find out that you smoked weed even in another country, you can face prison time, like when you're back in Japan.
Pourquoi, sir?
They're just
Pourquoi? Why?
Japan is just fucking super hardcore against weed.
How Japanese do you have to be?
You have to be a citizen.
Okay, cool. I'm good.
You know what I mean? Like, they've sent warning, they've issued warnings out basically.
They're so against weed that if you come to America and on vacation and smoke weed, and you come home, you find out, man, that is totalitarian. You know what I'm trying to say?
Totalitarian.
And, boom. And
did I get that? Am I a winner?
Yes, you won.
Yeah.
That was it. Nailed it. And
Yes.
And here's the thing. The fucked up thing is it scares me a little bit, because what the fuck did Japan know? Like what's going on with the weed? This is like, is there some GMO shit happening with the weed? What do they know about marijuana? They didn't tell a lot of freaky shit in Japan. It's weird to me. That weed is the thing that they're making a hard stance on.
I mean, they're restrictive in drug laws in a lot of ways. They don't really like, they consider things like therapy almost like a taboo medical kind of a thing. Like there's the culture is just different. It's just a different culture there. Their concept of some shit just doesn't run the same way.
I thought all of the shit that we do, like therapy and shit, was based on Far East culture. Japan's not part of that. It was everybody but Japan.
There's a lot of it that's built on like Freud and Nietzsche and a lot of other, psychology is very largely European influence.
Okay.
You start looking, and of course you start looking back into the old Greeks. You get into the Greeks and you get into some of that shit. Speaking of looking weird and way back and into the future as well, scientists are creating embryos that are part human and part monkey, and news that means the world is probably going to end tragically.
Wait, we get that news and we see the robot dog in New York the same fucking week. No, son! No!
The week I found out that matter isn't what we thought it was.
Why are we trying to do all of the crazy wrong shit for movies? It's like we've picked up every version of a horror movie. We're like, yeah, let's give that a shot. Let's see if we can make that animal, that beast.
Because it's all a simulation and the shit just got re-upped. I think we just got like our new, you get the expansion pack where like, you get all a bunch of new features. I think Planet Earth just got an expansion pack. We got new form of matter, a muon. We got trips to Mars are happening. We have robot dogs, and we have half human monkey people. This is the next phase of the game.
So what they're essentially using this for right now is to...
We completed a level.
Yeah, for right now, they're trying to use it for just regenerative stuff to help like aid in creating regenerative tissue. But
why do you mean monkey part stuff?
But the cells are playing well together, and it could definitely lead to the development of hybrids in the future. That's also definitely like the article about it is definitely like, but it could lead to organs. Better organs for organ transplants. You could get into
the Umbrella Academy.
But also you could end up with monkey people. That's a definitely
Umbrella Academy. Yeah.
So Bobby, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I know you've been hoping for superpowers, and I think this is probably how we get superpowers, right here through some type of the RNA technology that they use for the vaccine. You can then take HGH. Injections from one of those created cells with the RNA vaccine that teaches your cells to regenerate at that rate, and then basically takes your cellular structure back to the age of like say 22.
There is a
science.
I will say this: there's a thing where it's like a lot of science fiction stuff has become real, or a lot of a lot of creative stuff like that. So like in a way, the concept of superheroes is a little bit of science fiction, right? There is a little bit of science fiction of that. And also the amount of weird shit they're trying with human people and body parts and shit. Like if they make a monkey human hybrid, what's the difference between that and like garage?
That's a super soldier. That's gonna be a super soldier. There's no way that's not gonna be a super soldier. You're gonna make a monkey human man and that's not gonna be a soldier? The fuck? You made it for soccer, nigga? You decided to make the greatest soccer players? Huh?
Hey,
you tired of motherfuckers missing extra points? No, we gonna fix this shit. We gonna make some insane kickers. No, you're making it to be soldiers. Like, that's what the fuck else for?
I just want to point out, I get really offended every time y'all start talking about y'all little superpowers and shit. You big strong bastards that don't have no health issues and shit. You want to so most of the people that you meet, you probably could beat them up already, right? And so now, because it's a little bit of a challenge out there, now you niggas want to up the game. You know what I'm saying? You motherfuckers are horrible.
Listen, if there's gonna be monkey people, I'm gonna need some help. Okay, I'm gonna need.
Give me the monkey people shot.
Yeah, give me robot legs and monkey people
all that shit.
I want to combo that shit.
The exoskeleton, the monkey people shot.
He said, "Give me robot leg."
No capes, Bobby.
Yo, the minute
Capes get
robot
caught
legs,
capes get caught in jets.
the minute they get robot legs that work for people, where you could just like where the recharge is quick or whatever, I'm sold.
Same.
Replace these motherfuckers. I'm in with robot legs the minute I can get them. I want them.
I can't
right
wait.
away.
I can't
right
wait
away.
to do. I would be an 80-year-old motherfucker doing the robot because I am a robot.
My knees right now sound like the end of a vinyl record. You know, like when you get to the end and it just be like. When I bend my shit, that's what they do. So if you give me where the shit don't get tired unless I run out of battery charge, I'm in. Give me some solar panels on them motherfuckers. I will never wear pants. I'll just run around with my solar panel legs.
Y'all think I'm kidding? I whisper in my son's ears when he sleeps. Figure how to upload daddy's brain. Figure out how to upload daddy's brain. I'm gonna live forever.
In some not so great news, ArcLight and Pacific theaters in California are closing. There's ArcLights in Chicago too. The Cinema Dome, if you ever watched Entourage, they used to open with the show like finishing up in front of the Cinema Dome in Cali. Yeah. Expensive ass theater, but also they didn't show ads in front of the fucking movies. They just went straight into the trailers and the movies, which was great. And they all had stadium seating, which was pretty badass. But they have decided they are not coming back. They're going to be closing for good. Also not coming back, LaMarcus Aldridge. He's retiring from the NBA. My man was dealing with an irregular heartbeat, which is it's a weird thing how in basketball that seems to be a thing that happens as often.
That is a tall dude thing.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, if you're over 6'4", which I learned this when I was like 6'4", because athlete that I was a very big fan of passed away. I can't remember, but this was like over 20 years.
Was it Hank Gathers?
Yes.
Yeah, he was dope, man. Loyola Marymount, man. That was a dope ass squad.
Dude, I was on the basketball court. We were playing when that happened, and somebody came out, dude, stop out. They told, screaming out and said he died. It was crazy. But yeah, and they they had a bunch of 60-minute specials, like what happened. And thing when dudes are sometimes being my size, my heart is probably bigger than yours. But as long as it's not bigger than my, to the body mass ratio, as long as it's the same, that's totally fine. And sometimes guys have large hearts and there's a problem and they don't take care of themselves because they don't know. It's hard to track. So that's one of the reasons why I don't eat red meat. I don't take any of that type of protein in, and I avoid a bunch of other things. And I'm trying to be, again, less fat take the stress off this big ass body.
There's some good news out of Chicago on the sports side. Carlos Rodon, who is a guy who was almost out of baseball after last year with the White Sox, threw a no-hitter. It was the 20th in White Sox history, which is a franchise record. This guy, though, the big story is this guy's comeback. This guy was I think a number 3 pick for the White Sox at one point. Had got to the major leagues. He hurt his shoulder and missed a bunch of games, missed a year or something like that. Then he came back and he hurt his elbow and had to have Tommy John surgery, which is a very baseball-specific surgery where they usually take a ligament from a cadaver and they put it in your elbow. And then they send you back out to keep throwing a baseball. And they're just like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this dead guy's ligament and we're going to put it in your elbow. And now you're going to go out and you're going to throw 100 of these a game. There you go.
The crazy thing is that surgery, they started doing it. There was I don't know if this is still happening, but there was a thing where kids in their teens we're trying to get the surgery early because once you get it, you're good forever, basically.
It takes like a year or so of rehab to get yourself back into shape. But not only are you good, sometimes you're even better. There's pitchers that would come out and find they have a whole nother pitch they could throw. They some guys throw harder after they get the surgery. It's just like, was that Rookie of the Year with the kid who had the fucking elbow?
Yeah.
But this guy, then he ended up getting non-tendered by the White Sox, which basically means there's a certain date where you have to be offered a contract or you're a free agent, and they did not offer him a contract, and he came back and signed with them. Just like they offered him a lesser deal basically, and he was like, fuck it, I'll take it just so I can play somewhere. And the guy comes out and throws a no-hitter. Would have had a perfect game, but he hit a dude in the shoe with
Yeah.
but it's just I love comeback stories and underdog stories. The guy who caught the no-hitter was a guy that was told repeatedly he'd never catch in the big leagues. He was like,
wow.
He was like, just my parents, like one coach and me thought I'd ever make it, and end up playing, which was a pretty good deal. The last thing
season for the black and white, baby. Might be the season for the black and white.
The last thing I want to talk about today was this video that I share with you guys about this dude. This video is so crazy, man. This guy comes out of his crib. He's just kind of walking out. He's like talking. He's got brownies in his hand. He's probably going to fucking, probably going to the little HOA clubhouse to hang out with the old guys and shoot the shit. He comes out. I gotta get the car washed. He's talking to his wife. And in the corner, you see, if you watch the video, now that I've seen it a few times, and coming from across the street, he hollers at the lady jogging down. She's lady jogging. Hey, how's it going? Sure. I got to get the car washed. And you see something skirt across the street. And the lady's coming out with a cat carrier, the wife. And then you hear some type of growling. And then the lady's just screaming like crazy. She just starts yelling like a maniac. And the husband comes and she spins, and this guy's like, fuck it, sets the coffee down perfectly on the hood of the car. This guy goes from have a nice day to John Wayne in a heartbeat. This guy comes over, he goes, oh shit, he grabs it off of her and holds it in the air and yells, it's a bobcat. I wonder if that bobcat was like, it's a dude.
It's a person. It's a
But yo, he took that motherfucker and
my name is Jacob.
He takes his bobcat and he chucks this motherfucker about 20 feet. And the thing gets up and starts running. And then this man turns into John when he comes back. He goes, I'm a bust a cap in this.
Hey,
This guy's personality switch in the course of 1.5 minutes or whatever, however long this video is fucking amazing. It's like, it's a full path. It's a full arc for him.
Hey, man, look, white guys have needed a hero to get behind for a minute, and this is y'all dude. I like this guy. Please don't be racist.
Yeah.
Please don't be racist. Please don't be racist. He seemed like a hell of a guy, man. I want to like this guy.
Yeah,
I hope. Please don't.
Like Black Lives
Oh my
Matter
God, I hope
some
he's
shit.
not. Yeah, please don't be MAGA. Don't be. I don't show up on Fox News and just fuck up everything, please. God, just say because I want to love this guy, man. This shit was so awesome.
I didn't see any of that. I just seen him put something on it. I'm like, why is this too small? I couldn't see it, and it didn't have any sound on my end. I was like, I don't know what that is he put on the window, but it looked like a cup of coffee or something. And then he walks out, and then I seen the lady with the cat carrier, and I'm like, is she trying to trap whatever that is? And then I seen him get out and body slam that mother. Yeah. And when I said, I was like, is that a bobcat? Right? I didn't know most of what you just described made that a way better clip than what I saw.
Yeah, you gotta find that with the sound on, Rob. You gotta go find that on Twitter, with the sound on.
Rob, I had the exact same experience, fam. When I watched it, I didn't have the sound at first. And I saw something else. I don't know if Bobby made a comment or something I was watching on TV that they made reference to him yelling something. And I was like, oh, wait, there's audio to this shit? I went back and watched the audio. I was like, oh, this is amazing. You were right. It makes it. Because without the audio, it doesn't make sense. You don't know. You just think that's his family cat because it's kind of hard to tell if you're watching on the phone how big the bobcat is. But then, like, if you realize I watched it on my laptop with a bigger screen, I was like, oh, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great video clip.
That NFT is gonna go for $100 million. That family's probably gonna be rich.
Oh yeah. The bobcat, by the way, they did put it down. It had rabies, which is why.
I was about to add.
Bobcats do not just, like, they're not trying to come out and just fuck with you like that. They usually live pretty well alongside people trying to not fuck with them. It's usually if you corner them or if they're sick when they actually will try and.
That motherfucker came from across the street like they owed him money. Like, he's like, where the fuck is my bread? No, where's my money?
You guys are hitting the town tonight? Is that what's going on?
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. We're going out to the local comedy club where a comedy legend, Michael Collier, is performing.
Nice.
Mike had me on his podcast, and it was a lot of fun, man.
That's awesome, man.
Pretty smart.
XL, where can people
find? Real quick, I also was on Jay Washington's podcast.
Oh yeah.
Dude, he's doing a good
Blurs.
job.
Yeah.
Really good at that, man. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah,
And his
he's
partner's
a
great, too.
solid host, man. He's a solid podcast host. We're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for kicking it with us. XL, where can people find you, brother?
At XL Comedy on all of the networks at XL Comedy. That's also on Xbox Online if you want to get your ass kicked at FIFA or any other number of sports games. You want some FIFA? James, you look like you want some FIFA. I gave you some FIFA. You want some FIFA,
We'll
boy?
Rob, where can people find you at, brother?
Robert_L_Hines on all social media.
Look at that. He's got one spot.
Yes, I Solar Man Media. Shout out to them.
Nice. I Solar Man love shout outs.
That's Hannibal Burris' joint. They have changed all of my social media. I'm getting it's just been amazing.
That's awesome.
And
You
the
feel-
special Lockdown is out.
There it is.
And we got a new, Combs cold ass cryotherapy and cryptocurrency advisory.com.
Make sure you go there and get all your cryotherapy and cryptocurrency needs. You can find me at Mocha_Jesus on Twitter and Instagram and all the socials. The Poly Llama on PlayStation 4 if you want to go play for Fortnite. Find People of Comedy at People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and Instagram. Catch us here next week. We'll be back with another live one. That's it from here. That's what's up.
I'm at G-Man Tavern on the 29th, y'all.
Ballin' mozzarella, palmas on cheese. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Say you ballin', but not in my league. Yeah, whole lot of niggas changed since we came up. They can try to steal the move.